What's up, everyone? We're going to be going through the best NBA player props on Prizepicks today. Now, don't forget to like this video, as it does let me know to continue to give you guys free picks every day. So make sure to like this video, clicking that button down below. And I did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group. And as you guys see, we actually got 21 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. Now, a lot of you comment wanting to see how many I got wrong, and I thought I'd show you in today's video. We only got 2 picks wrong, got 21 right, which is a 95% win rate. Yes, guys, you heard that right. 95% win rate. So we're on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get a 95% win rate and get 21 picks right like me, win more bets and receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon, which will be linked down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure to join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $500 just yesterday, and another member who won $105 for the 5th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description. So go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group, and I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. So quick shout out to Chris Word 9130 who said send Discord link, and the link will actually be pinned in the comments. So shouts out to him, and if you do want to win a shout out in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below in this video and like it, and you can be in the running to win a shout out in the next one. Alright, so let's get straight into the first pick. And when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So the first pick we're going to be talking about is none other than Kevin Huerter, and this one is for 3.5 rebounds, and this one actually is for less. Now, looking at Kevin Huerter, we've actually seen him go on the under in 2 out of the last 5 games. And, when it comes to these picks and also, his last 5 games, we do also know that there has only been 1 of these 5 games have actually been from this season. So it was actually that October 23rd against Detroit. So he did go on the over, actually had 5 rebounds there. But as we mentioned, we do like the under for this situation here. Now, coming into this matchup, we do also know that Chicago Bulls and Kevin Huerter face off against Orlando Magic. Now, it is definitely going to be an exciting game for sure. And looking at where both these teams do rank, starting off with actually, Chicago Bulls, obviously all these teams haven't really played that many games, but looking at this more in depth, we do also know that Chicago Bulls do currently rank 4th in the Eastern Conference. So they've actually done a fantastic job, as we all know. Not only have they done a great job, but what we also have seen is that when it comes to Chicago Bulls, they currently find themselves 4th due to the fact that, they have a great points for and against. Now, they face off against Orlando Magic, who are in the same conference. Now, Orlando Magic do actually face off against, Chicago, but Orlando did have 2 tough matchups. One of them they won, one of them they lost. So they currently rank 8th in the Eastern Conference and have a 50% win percentage so far. Now, looking at both of these teams, we also are seeing that they're somewhat similarly stacked up, but looking at Orlando Magic defensively when it came to rebounds, we do actually see that Orlando Magic do rank when it comes to rebounds allowed. They rank 20th. So, surprisingly, they do rank a little bit low. However, the reason why we still do like the under for someone like Kevin Huerter is that what we actually see is that Orlando Magic actually do a fantastic job at restricting rebounds to actually Kevin Huerter's position. So we are expecting the under for this situation here for someone like Kevin Huerter. Although he is a great player, we are expecting Orlando to really do a fantastic job, as they do a great job at restricting his position. We see that being a huge effect coming into this game. Now, when we look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also have him favored for the under as well. So that works out in our favor there. So all in all, we do very much like the under for this one. So Kevin Huerter, 3.5 rebounds for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now, getting into the next one, we are going to be talking about Nikola Vucevic. So Nikola Vucevic, although he is in the same team, there is going to be some overlap with some of these picks, but we do only pick, the best ones we do see fit. Now, this one's a great one for Nikola Vucevic, and this is actually for steals and blocks. So this one is a combo one for steals and blocks for actually 1.5, and this one actually is for less. Now, when we look at Nikola Vucevic, obviously he has gone on the under in 1 out of the last 5 games, but we do also know that only one of these games was actually from this season, which was on October 23rd against Detroit, and we actually saw Nikola Vucevic go on the under and only had one block and steal together. So we did see him go on the under in that one, and now they face off against Orlando Magic, as we mentioned before. Now, we do very, very much like the under for this one, as we mentioned before, and just to quickly reiterate, when it comes to the rankings of both these teams, Bulls currently rank 4th in the Eastern Conference with a 1-0 record, while Orlando have a record of 1-1 and currently rank 8th. The Bulls are currently ranked higher. Obviously, it is still very early on in the season, but they still do rank a little bit higher. And when we look at Orlando Magic, when it comes to blocks allowed and also steals allowed, now, starting off with actually blocks, surprisingly, we do see that Orlando Magic actually rank very good, as they actually rank tied 4th. So, it is pretty interesting to see. It is early on, but they definitely have shown Orlando do a great job, at restricting blocks and restricting, in that category, especially to the center position. And when we look at steals as well, we have seen that Orlando Magic have actually done a pretty decent job, because they are currently ranked and tied for 13th. So, they have done pretty good job there. Obviously, a little bit better in blocks, and we are expecting Vucevic, who is a little bit more, I would say, of a shot blocker. We aren't expecting him to get that many looks or opportunities to actually get a block or a steal in this one. So for that reason, we do very, very much like the under for this one. When we look at Orlando Magic, we also do know that Orlando and the Chicago matchup is going to be an exciting one. And with Chicago having Nikola at that center position, Orlando do a great job at restricting blocks and steals to the center position. So that's definitely going to have a huge effect there. So all in all, we definitely see all these different things being a huge factor coming into this game, which is why we do very, very much like the under for this one. So for that reason, I definitely would keep an eye out for someone like Nikola Vucevic coming into this game. I see a lot of value there for him to go on the under. So Nikola Vucevic for 1.5 blocks and steals for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now, getting into the next one, we're actually going to be talking about another great player, and this is none other than actually Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Now, this one is actually for a different matchup. Now, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is, currently with his, somewhat new team of Memphis Grizzlies. He has done a great job for them so far, but this one is actually a points and rebounds. So this one is actually a combo one for points and rebounds for 12.5, and actually this one is for less. Now, looking at Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, we have actually seen him go on the under in 4 out of the last 5 games. Now, similar to actually, the other matchups, we do also see that Kentavious does actually, or has actually played 2 games so far out of these 5 that are actually from this season. And that is, again, on October 23rd against New Orleans Pelicans. He actually had 19 points and rebounds in that matchup. Then October 25th, faced off against Miami, had 10 points and rebounds there. So that was an interesting one to say the least. And looking at both of those, we do obviously know that we do like the under for this one. So technically he's going on the under in 1 out of the 2 games so far this season. Now, looking more in depth at this matchup, we do know Memphis face off against Indiana. Now, Memphis Grizzlies, Indiana Pacers, both great teams. Starting off with Memphis, Memphis do currently rank 7th in the Western Conference. Now, they have a record of 1 win and 1 loss. And one of the reasons why they are currently ranked 7th is due to the fact that every team above them has actually won every single game that they've played. So, it is a little bit interesting to see, obviously, early on in the season, but they have a 50% win rate and also are home 1-1 as their record. Now, looking at their matchup, which is Indiana Pacers. Pacers haven't had the greatest start to the season. They currently rank 13th in the Eastern Conference, and they also have 0 wins and 1 loss. So, interestingly enough, they have a 0% win percentage there. From home, they are 0-1, and it is going to be an interesting matchup here. Now, looking at Indiana defensively, obviously we are focusing on points and rebounds due to the fact that this is what this line is. And looking at Indiana Pacers, although they do rank pretty poor since they did lose that first game, we do actually see that Indiana Pacers do rank 30th when it comes to points allowed. And when it comes to rebounds allowed, we also do see that the Pacers also rank, interestingly, in the rebound department. they also rank 30th. So coming into this matchup, we do very, very much like the actual, under for this situation. But the reason why is that when we look on a per position basis, we actually do see that Indiana Pacers do a fantastic job at restricting points and rebounds to the guard position. So we are definitely expecting that for someone like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. When we look on a per position basis, that definitely does change a lot of different things. As we've mentioned before, when it comes to things like this, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, although he is a great player, we do also know that he doesn't have the biggest usage rate and isn't the main player, I would say, for this team. And we definitely see that affecting this one greatly. For someone like KCP, we have definitely seen him integrate himself into this, team very well, but he does tend to play more a little bit of a support role rather than anything else. So we definitely see that being a huge factor coming into this game, which is why we do very much like the under for someone like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope coming into this matchup. So for that reason, I definitely would keep an eye out for the under for this one. When we look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also have been favored for the under as well, which is interesting to see. I think all in all, we should see the under for someone like KCP coming into this game. So today, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope for 12.5 points and rebounds combined for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now, I do also want to mention when it also comes to these picks, definitely keep an eye out for some goblin picks. So as you all know, I do want to get these picks out to you as soon as possible, but Prizepicks is delayed with some of their lines. So here are a couple of players you should definitely watch out for when their lines drop. So the first player we're going to be talking about is none other than Buzelis. Now, as you all know, Matas is a fantastic player for the Chicago Bulls, and he has done a fantastic job so far this season. Now, he is averaging 21 points, 6 rebounds, and 1 assist on 58.3% field goal percentage. However, he has only played 1 game so far. So obviously taking that into consideration, this average is a little bit skewed due to the fact that it's just based off 1 game, but he definitely had a fantastic game against Detroit Pistons, and now they find themselves in a very good matchup in this next one against Orlando Magic. Now when we look at Orlando Magic, we do also know that Orlando has actually, done a pretty decent job so far. Now they have a little bit more or 1 more extra game under their belt, but Orlando Magic currently have a record of 1 win and 1 loss. That puts them in the 8th position in the Eastern Conference. Chicago Bulls on the other side did win their first game. They actually won and put them in the 4th spot in the actual Eastern Conference as well. So they are in the same conference there. And they have a record of 1 win and 0 losses. Now, obviously coming into this matchup, a lot of the rankings is just based off for and against. So they currently do rank 4th. And now this matchup between both of these teams is going to be great. But looking defensively at Orlando Magic and where they have ranked so far in the first couple of games, we do see that they rank 18th when it comes to points allowed. When we look at assists allowed, we also do see that Orlando Magic rank pretty poorly as they actually rank 19th. And then rebounds allowed, we also do see that Orlando Magic don't really rank as well as we hoped as they rank 20th. So Orlando had a very good season last season for sure, but coming into this next one, it definitely has been a little bit interesting. They haven't gotten off to the greatest start, and defensively, they haven't really been the best. Now, looking at someone like Matas, we also do know coming into this game that he does have a really good usage rate for the Chicago Bulls team, a lot more than he did last season. And that's why coming into this matchup, we do very much like the over for this situation here. As we mentioned in the past, when it actually comes to, a team like Chicago Bulls who are fairly new, and Matas being somewhat of a newish type player as he has only played, only 1 season before this, so he is a sophomore. But coming into this matchup, we do also know that he has had an increase in his usage rate, and we are expecting Matas to go on the over on this one. Now, looking at Matas, he does have a pretty high usage rate in points and rebounds, so I definitely would focus a little bit more on those two than compared to assist, as his assist line is a little bit, slightly on the slightly on the lower side for sure. So that's why definitely keep an eye out for the over, but I think points and rebounds is definitely where you want to focus on due to the fact that, Matas does have a higher usage rate in both of those areas. So definitely keep an eye out for the over for someone like Manas. But as I mentioned before, keep an eye out for the line. If the line is under his averages, then definitely look to go on the over. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Dyson Daniels. So Dyson Daniels, great player. And this one, this matchup that he does face off against is going to be an exciting one because the Atlanta Hawks find themselves in a very good matchup against Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, looking at Dyson Daniels specifically, we have seen him actually average 4 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and also a 50% field goal percentage. Now, Dyson Daniels is a great player for the Atlanta Hawks, but he hasn't really had the greatest start so far. Now, obviously, they have played 2 games under their belt, so it is still very early on in the season. But obviously, looking at this next matchup against Oklahoma City Thunder, we do know where both these teams do rank. Thunder currently rank 3rd in the Western Conference. They not only rank 3rd, but they have an undefeated record of 2 wins and 0 losses, which also puts them in a good position there. And they face off against the Hawks, who are in the other conference, but the Hawks do actually, rank 7th in the Eastern Conference with a record of 1 win and 1 loss. So, somewhat of a different record there. Now, coming into this matchup, it is definitely going to be an exciting one, but we do also know that looking at Oklahoma City Thunder defensively, we do see that Thunder do rank when it comes to points allowed. They rank 25th. Assist wise, we actually do see that Thunder also rank 8th. Rebound wise, we also see the Thunder rank 27th. So we actually see OKC ranking pretty poorly in all, in all categories. Now, assists is probably their highest one, where they are, tied 8th or ranked 8th. But for someone like Dyson Daniels, we still do very much like the over for this situation here, as Dyson Daniels is a guard. And what we have seen so far this season is that Oklahoma City Thunder really do struggle against the guard position. So we definitely are expecting someone like Dyson Daniels to be able to go on the over in this situation, especially with the matchup that he does face off against. So for that reason, I would definitely keep an eye out for the over. If we look at Dyson Daniels' most recent game against Toronto, his earliest or first one, he had 4 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds there. Against Orlando, had 6 points, 4 assists, 9 rebounds, and he did play a lot of minutes in those games. Now, he is still definitely adjusting to this new Atlanta Hawks team that have new additions to the roster, but also because of that, we are expecting a little bit more of a difference in, some sort of usage rate for all these players, but we still see Dyson Daniels being a little bit undervalued, and that's why we do very much like the over for this one. So getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about none other than LaMelo Ball. Now, LaMelo Ball has had a pretty decent start to the season because we actually have seen him score in that first game and is currently averaging 20 points, 2 rebounds, 8 assists, and also has shot 46.7% from the field. So he's definitely done a fantastic job for Charlotte Hornets, and they actually did win their first game, but now they find themselves in a very next good matchup against the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, it is definitely going to be an exciting game between both of these teams, but looking at where both these teams do rank, starting off with actually LaMelo Ball and the Charlotte Hornets, we do see Charlotte currently ranked 3rd in the Eastern Conference. Now, they have a record of 1 win so far, and one of the reasons why they are up so high, even though other teams have also won their first game, is due to points for and against. But looking at this matchup more in depth, we do also know that they face off against none other than actually 76ers, where 76ers on the other side do also rank pretty well, as they actually rank 5th in the Eastern Conference. So they have a similar record as well. They actually have 1 win and 0 loss. Now, they have a 100% win rate, but it really does come down to for and against, which is one of the reasons why they are in that situation. And looking at this matchup, we do also see that LaMelo Ball does find himself in a matchup against a team that has done defensively pretty decent, but we also do see that Philadelphia 76ers rank 7th in points allowed, so they're great there, 1st in assists allowed, and then when it comes to rebounds allowed, they do rank 13th. So 76ers are a great defensive team, and that's what I did want to mention about coming into this game. We did see LaMelo Ball in his first matchup actually have 20 points, 8 assists, 2 rebounds, as we mentioned, but we are expecting him to go on the under in this next game here for sure. Now, a big reason reason for this is due to the fact that when he does face off against, a team of 76ers caliber, we do see that 76ers not only do a great job defensively at restricting points, rebounds, and assists, but they also do a fantastic job at restricting those things to the actual guard position. So that's why coming into this matchup, we do very, very much like the under for this situation here for someone like LaMelo Ball. So we definitely see him going on the under. Now, when we look at, LaMelo Ball over his game as well, yes, his usage rate does remain very high, but the way we have seen 76ers defense so far is that they like to hone in, focus in on their stars, and try to restrict them as much as possible, and have the other, players in their team do more of the scoring, rebounding, and playmaking. So we could see LaMelo have himself, a very defensive focused game against him, and that's why we do like the under for a situation like this. So for that reason, keep an eye out for LaMelo Ball. Keep an eye out for any one of these lines, whether it's points, rebounds, and assists. See a lot of value there to go on the under, especially if the line is too close to his averages. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Aaron Nesmith. So Aaron Nesmith, great player, as we all know, from none other than Indiana Pacers. And he's done a fantastic job so far this season, averaging 5 points, 7 rebounds, 0 assists, also at 28.6% from the field. So he's definitely done a fantastic job there. Now, coming into this matchup, we do also know that Indiana Pacers find themselves in a good matchup against Memphis Grizzlies. Now, it is going to be an exciting matchup between both of these teams for sure. But looking at where both of these teams do lie, starting off with Indiana Pacers did unfortunately lose their, first game, which puts them in ranking of 13th. So they actually rank 13th. They have a 0-1 record, but as we mentioned, it is still very early on in the season, so anything can really change for sure. Now, looking at this, we do also know that they face off against the Grizzlies, and Grizzlies on the other side of things do actually have a somewhat decent record as they rank 7th, but they also not only rank 7th, but, they have a record of 1 win and 1 loss. So very interesting to see there. Now, when you look at it more in depth, we do also see that, Grizzlies defensively do actually rank, starting off with points allowed. We do see that the Grizzlies rank pretty poorly as they rank 19th. Then moving on into assists allowed, we see that they rank 3rd. And then rebounds allowed, we also do see that the Grizzlies rank 20th. So, they do rank a little bit higher in that assist category for sure. But for someone like Aaron Nesmith, we actually do like the over for someone like him in the points and rebound department. Now, a big reason being is that when we actually look at someone like Aaron Nesmith, he does have a higher usage rate as well, also in the, points and rebounds department. He doesn't really have that too high in the actual, assist section or assist sector, and that's why coming into this matchup, we do very, very much actually like the over for someone like Aaron Nesmith, but strictly in those two categories. Now, looking at his first matchup, which was actually against none other than actually Indiana Pacers, we did actually see that when they faced off against them, we did see him face off against OKC, and he had 5 points, 7 rebounds, and also 0 assists there, but he also shot 28.6% from the field and a 33.3% 3-point percentage. So he didn't really have the greatest shooting night, and that's why coming into this next one, we are expecting more of a little bit of a different outcome, and we could actually see him turn things around, especially against an easier defensive matchup, which is the Grizzlies. So for that reason, we are definitely liking the over, and we are definitely sticking to it. So for that reason, keep an eye out for the over for this one for someone like Aaron Nesmith. If his line is under his averages, then definitely look to go on the over.